Hello everyone. This is gonna be a video about my tips on growing melons in a climate that is not ideal, let's say. So to give you an example, would be like my zone is 4, but also in zone 5, 3, even 6 is not really ideal for melons. So you have to take some extra steps uh, to grow successfully these fruits, and you have to do few things that maybe how I do it is it my own way. And if you see my videos, I think I've been successful to growing even not only like short season melons, but also like um, the long season melon, like those long oblong watermelons and any kind. Uh, the first tip that you probably is gonna go against what you usually read online is to start them early. Usually you see on the instruction of the seed package or on people saying don't start them more than 2 to 4 weeks before the last frost date. I actually start mine around 8 weeks before the last frost date. If you have a short season like mine, that is like 90 to 110 days long, you have to get a head start on them. And so start them early, absolutely start them early. Another tips, now I'm gonna turn the camera so I can actually show you. So we said start them early. Obviously, if you start them early, you wanna have like a container that is large enough to hold them. So something like this. Now this one, they are like sweet potato cuttings that are not doing that well, but to give you an idea, you want a nice large container. So in one of these regular trays, you can fit 6, and then you have your plastic dome and everything, and you can start them inside. What I did, I actually, instead of using the hard plastic container, I use pit pots. You can't see them inside now, but they are large pit pots, not the small one, the large one, to also avoid transplant shock. So that's another tips. If you want to uh, disturb the roots a little less when you transplant, the pit pots is uh, a good way to do it. How I do it, I also cut a bit the pit pots. You can go back and see on my videos. That's just because I find that the pit pots, um, they don't how do you say, get broken down that easily in the soil or that fast. So I like to cut a little to let the roots have more space. So these are first two. Start early, large containers to start them. Don't start them in a small and then transplant it, because then you have like twice the transplant shock. Start them right away in a pot like this. You have your heating mat underneath. You have your lights on top. You're gonna have a 6 per tray is enough, because you don't need tons of melon plants. So I usually have 2 trays, so like 12 plants at a time. And then when you transplant them, a very important thing is obviously protecting them. Now, I use this low tunnel. You can use cold frames, you can use any kind of structure that help you cover them. On top of it, a good addition would be something like this, like a frost blanket. It's a fleece that is not a big investment. This one you can buy them even at the dollar store, and they really helps a lot. They keeps a bit the strength of the sun of the plants. They keep a little bit more of moisture in, and also they protect from the cold. So if you can use a frost blanket, that also helps. Another tip, this, as you can see, look, for example, this one. This plant here has been seeded and transplanted at the same time as this plant down here. Now, look at the difference on growth on this one and this one. Okay, this one also, look at the leaves, they don't look that great, but it's fine. The new one, they are green. But this one is about this side, 3 vines, and that's it. This one is already a nice bush, and it has also female flowers, not only the males, but I saw some female flowers already growing. So this one are almost forming fruit already now that it's June, the 5th of June. And the difference is that these, they are grown on a raised pot surface. So it's a black bean that I sprayed black. The soil is way warmer than down here. So that's a big difference, and you can definitely tell the difference. Like even this one is huge, and it's just like, let me see, full loaded. There they are, of even female flowers. So there's melons already growing in these plants, just at the beginning of June in zone 4. Because what it does, it really helps those those roots to be warm, and it just put this beautiful growth. The only thing you have to keep up a little bit more is with the water and keep an eye on it, because obviously it's gonna the raised beds and the raised pots is gonna dry faster. So that's something you have to keep in mind when you do this. Another tip at this stage, if you don't have a lot of bees, a lot of pollinators around, is to hand pollinate. That one could save you another few days, because as soon as you see a female flower, you go get the male and pollinate, or you use like a swab or a like a little painting brush. You do whatever you want, but to hand pollinate is gonna save you another few days in order to get an earlier harvest. You hand pollinate, the fruit grows. Now, cantaloupes, when they start to be close to ripening, they clearly release a scent in the air that they smell very sweet and appetizing to pest. And I lost to the few cantaloupes in the past to pest. Never watermelon, but cantaloupes, yes. So my tip is to absolutely protect the cantaloupes. You can use milk crate. That one, like, for example, if I have a cantaloupe, I could let the vine down and put the milk crate on top. You can build some fleece with chicken wire. You do anything, but you have to protect them, because the pests, animals, they're gonna find them and they're gonna take them from you. Here is another look at in ground. They're still doing fine, but when they are in those pots, look at the leaves. Look at the difference. There, watermelon in ground, watermelon in the pot. Beautiful growth. Probably is gonna start to put some flowers soon. So these are my main tips. Then going on forward, I could say that with watermelon, many people ask how to know when they're ready. Yes, you can check the tendril. You can check, if it's dry the tendril, but also the tapping is very important. And at the same time, it's very difficult to explain the sound that the tapping of a watermelon that is ready, the sound that it makes. So just keep tapping your watermelon. You tap them, and you try to keep an ear. If you see any difference, when it starts to change, it sounds a bit different. You harvest, you see if it's ripe or not. You're gonna learn. In the years, you're gonna start to learn different varieties, different sounds. It sounds like a lot, but that's the only way you're really gonna harvest always perfectly ripe watermelon. While cantaloupe, obviously, it's a bit easier. And last one, if possible, save your own seeds. That plant right there, it's my own seeds, and I don't know, but I do believe that generation from generation, they're just gonna get better suited for the climate and the condition you grow them with. So my condition obviously is going to be started inside, transplanted out under this tunnel, with that certain climate, certain humidity, and when you keep the seeds from a successful fruit, like an early successful melon, then they have genetically, they know they grow in this condition, they're gonna grow better on, later on they're gonna grow better and better, and you're gonna have better success in growing melons. So for now, that's it. Let's wait for the bike to pass, but that's what I wanted to show you. Give some tips on the melons. It's far from impossible to grow melons in this climate. If I can grow this warm climate melon in zone 4, I'm pretty sure you can get some variety of like short season, like far north, or like Gnadenfeld, or for example, you have like the sugar baby, watermelon, blacktail mountain. I'm pretty sure you could be successful in zone 3 even with all these tips and the covers and everything, and then you just put your mind into it, you figure out way, and if you keep up with it, you're gonna be successful. So keep watching, I'll keep you updated, I'll show you what this vine's gonna produce. I can't wait to taste the first melon. Hopefully by middle of July, somewhere around that, I should be able to get some from that vine, because this is already a few days that has female blossoms. So if my calculations are right, maybe third week of July 100%, maybe second week of July even, I should be able to get a melon. Thanks for watching. Take care.